into the rest of the game. But we did say Piglet has been showing up lately, so we may see the resources and power still tend and trend towards that bot lane of Team Liquid. Yeah. Here we are on the pick ban phase now for phase 1 of Liquid versus TSM.
Yeah, it's interesting that yesterday we ended up seeing TL not really prioritize the pick for Piglet. The Caitlyn got taken away from him, so he had to play things like Kog'Maw. But I feel like TL might pivot and go after something like the Caitlyn as a first pick here, especially if multiple junglers are left up. Right now, TSM has not been pinching the jungle, and Olaf is one of the most common bans right now against Team Liquid. It's actually the most frequent ban that has thrown Team Liquid's way. So if that's left up, I feel like you can take a Caitlyn, and then you're able to take an Olaf in the next round. And there's the Caitlyn ban.
Sven has that Olaf as well, so that could be traded back and forth. We'll have a few of those other top junglers for these guys. Let's see what they have first. 15 seconds left on the side of Liquid to show their hand in first pick. What do they prioritize?
Galio.
No, the Galio takeaway.
I think it's also
somewhat.
It's a flex pick as well. It could be going to Lourlo. It could be going to GoldenGlue. GoldenGlue, I would say, so far his best performance was on that Galio.
Yep. Getting a few double kills for himself, taking fights, and really extending the champion's capabilities to the max. You see him going down to those 100 HP fights, but still coming out on top. Kind of knowing his boundaries a little bit more on a champion like that. Ooh, Xayah Rakan instantly locked in. So whoever's getting dove on, already getting help from Galio in this situation. So these fights are going to be pretty messy so far. I like it. Messy in a good way.
Yeah, the good kind of messy. But yeah, I love watching Rakan engage from that incredible range, especially when paired with the Xayah in the bottom lane. So this will allow DoubleLift to stay safe. Got himself a player of the game, I believe, last week on Xayah. Had a standout performance on that champion. And there's the Olaf that we were talking about for Team Liquid. And this is a great composition for them. And I feel like you would want to run this Galio in mid lane now up against Bjergsen for just kind of a neutral lane. Make sure you don't get shoved in. You get enough AP early after your first back that you can just wave clear. And when ReignOver wants to engage and runs forward, you now have a way to, even though Olaf loses the resist, give him a lot of damage reduction with the Galio.
It's kind of like you lose the CC, but you still get the resistance. It's bad.
Yeah.
You just got to time it right. TL putting together a great composition to lock somebody down with that arrow, and then thereafter an Olaf and a Galio. And a lot of power coming from TSM right now. If this Graves is locked in, a good aggressive early game from the jungle as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like, I was about to say, I feel like you go with something else instead of the Graves there. The Gragas or even the Elise. The Gragas also a flex pick. Gragas actually fares quite well into Galio in the top lane. They're even, or at least Galio wins a little bit in terms of how much he can shove pre-level 6. And then when it hits level 6, Galio doesn't really have a combat ultimate. So Gragas has the opportunity to knock Galio back, etc. And then when Galio gets to the point where you have your first magic resist item, Gragas is just better with the Spirit Visage. So Triple Door and Spirit Visage is where Gragas takes it over because of his HP regen and just constantly using his passive. So he'll be able to out-sustain the Galio if it is a top lane matchup.
Feels good. And then you're the guy that wins that matchup, but the laner just starts ulting other lanes, and he has like 7 kills because of it. You're like, good thing I did well in top lane.
But being able to use your teleport and your globals is a huge part of top lane. But I feel like that might not even be it right now. And this is getting really interesting because there's 2 top lane bans from TSM. So they're saying that is not a top lane Galio. And in fact, Fiora is not picked or banned right now. So TSM could easily pick up Fiora and flex it if Bjergsen has been playing it to go wherever the Galio goes and save their last pick, because I feel like that's what happened to them in their first game against CLG, where Huhi pulled out the Fiora mid to counter the Galio wherever it went.
I mean, if you even go crazy enough, you could still give Bjergsen one of his ADs or his APs, and you get Hauntzer mid on that Fiora since he is efficient on it, or proficient on it. And we know Hauntzer does play it. Yeah. You want to get crazy.
Yeah, I feel like if you do want to get crazy, you pick Fiora here as TSM, and then you flex it if you have put the practice in on that mid lane, and you chase the Galio around. So you really kind of flex pick 2 things with the Gragas as well.
See how they want it. Looks like they're going to go for a little bit of protection to the composition first. Or no, they actually say they won't take Fiora. They put the Renekton in the top lane, still a safe lane for Hauntzer. Very aggressive lane he should be able to come out on top of for that level 6, and we'll see how Team Liquid answers here.
Well, now they can flex that Galio if they want to. They know that it's going to be a Renekton top and a Gragas in the jungle. Pick Matt, his support here. Thresh actually making it through, one of the most common supports now, actually globally, the most popular support in terms of picks.
this is a good thing.
I know, it's a great thing. Tell me about your passion for Thresh here, Riv. Go ahead.
No, it is literally the early game you can provide for your AD carry, literally in the way it did for a support, supporty support as we called it when we went through the support.
The shielding supports.
The shielding supports is those playmaking things we're looking for. Even if your AD carry is on the back line farming, a Thresh can 2v1 a situation if you get there early enough, a good flay, the good positioning on flay damage. And you can do this with other supports too. You can still do it with Bard and be aggressive. But it's just that Thresh can provide so much. The extra soul resistances. We're moving on to champion select though. Taliyah for GoldenGlue. We thought that was his. And now we're going to look to the other side here. What will they answer on the side of TSM?
I would assume Orianna. It's the standard pick here. Their composition looks like you would like, and also remember they have Rakan and Xayah. You're looking at almost a 2,000 plus range engage here, and the Orianna can throw the ball onto him. This is a composition that they've had to play against before, and it's very disruptive. So you can get onto that backline, get onto Piglet, who's on a low mobility AD carry, and also the Taliyah. That's one of the reasons Rakan is so powerful, is that the low mobility AD carries and mid laners are really kind of the meta right now, with most of those champions being that way. But I do want to pull out another thing here for the Thresh, because Thresh is a soft counter to the Rakan. Unless the Rakan is flash engaging and incredibly quick, the Thresh Flay actually stops the grand entrance because it's a backloaded cast. You travel to the spot, then the cast time starts, but a Flay that's buffered can actually interrupt it and prevent the knockup from happening.
We'll see how quick Matt is on that. Bot lane is something we'll be watching between DoubleLift and Piglet as these two continuously vie for best bot lane NA.
There's a lot of competition now.
A lot of competition coming from this one, especially getting their supports in that can now help them do damage and help them win that lane in their favor. We are getting into the matchup here. Team Liquid versus TSM, hashtag TLN, hashtag TSM win. It looks like that Galio will stay to the top side for Lourlo to start things off.
And Lourlo struggled yesterday up against Renekton from Flame, so we'll see what he looks like today with Hauntzer on that aggressive carry. Fans are ready, we're ready.
So ready. Been too long. I didn't even get to cast yesterday. It's like this extra day off. Oh, what is this?
That means you're well rested and ready for game one.
Let's go. We are on to the Rift, and we will see what Team Liquid has for TSM. It's been, as Dash said, such a topsy-turvy way to start the split with teams beating teams they shouldn't, losing teams they shouldn't.
I said at the beginning of the split that I feel like this is going to be the most competitive NA LCS split to date, because there were very little roster changes, no teams that came in that were new, so nobody has that infrastructure excuse, etc. Everybody has the spring to build off of with their core, right? People are learning how to play with like 1 or 2 more members at most.
You don't even have the, hey, we're built for summer this time, right? We're looking for summer.
We're in summer.
Everybody's looking for spring. That's usually the... But
spring saying like we're focused on worlds, we're a summer split team, etc.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, because everybody, all 10 returning teams for the first time in the history of the NA LCS, it's very competitive, and some teams have been left out to dry. You're looking at P1, who had some roster issues last split, and TL, who were trying to mix things up so much at the end of last split. They were grasping at straws trying to find something, and they find themselves with still a lot of those problems coming in to summer here.
And it's an amazing roster to see have those issues. The potential on this roster is absolutely ridiculous from their past and even what they've done in the present with some of their achievements.
I mean, you look at ReignOver, who's an NA LCS MVP previously. And then you look at Piglet, who was a Season 3 World Champion and has really struggled to kind of be integrated completely into teams that will play around him or find a style that he can fit into. But Piglet has been stepping up a little bit as more of a shot caller and being listened to by the team. So he's playing those things like Ashe. We saw him on Kennen the other day. And TL, they're still trying to find a solution to their woes in the NA LCS at the moment. They're struggling to find those wins, and it's mostly team coordination.
I think we have a pretty generic start here. Raptors towards the top side. Nobody got too much of a steal.
Something I actually want to talk about here in the Masteries, that it's been a sort of a shift here lately. Like, we saw a whole bunch of mid laners start going towards Storm Raider Surge. We saw Karma start going for Thunderlords, etc. Grasp was something that was like picked up on Olaf instead of Fervor, but I really want to talk about Svenskerens. He's gone with the Stoneborn Pact.
Nice dodge out. Nice. Continue.
Yeah, he's gone for the Stoneborn Pact for the extra HP because he gives you 5%. and then it's also the healing later. So Gragas has 3 ways to actually activate Stoneborn Pact on multiple people to heal his teammates. So I'm actually interested to see if he goes for the Runic Echoes for early game pressure, or if he goes for a Cinder Hulk and just tries to be a beefy tank that people can, you know, get health from the Stoneborn Pact. So I'm interested to see how this develops, because you think about the jungle meta recently, or even in the past few years, it was like, strength of the ages, because nobody hates more HP.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Stoneborn Pact has 5% of your maximum HP on it, so it's kind of got a little bit of that in there. And I like this right here, because DoubleLift is actually, he's got some pretty good CS per minute stats, but his percent of team's damage is not so much indicative of DoubleLift doing well or poorly. It's more so that Hauntzer and Bjergsen play a lot of carries, so he has a low damage percentage. But Piglet on the other side, we saw 33%. Piglet actually has the highest percent of his team's damage out of any AD carry in the league, doing 1/3 of his team's damage. That means, like, if you think about how many carries you have on a team normally, 2 to 3, it means that even counting the support's damage or the jungler's damage, etc., he's still accounting for 1/3 of the team's damage when all things are considered. And that's why he's #1. He's doing a lot of work, but his teammates aren't really doing as much.
Moving up quite a bit. We know DoubleLift being in those side lanes, always doing a little bit more farming than usual.
Yeah, but in this matchup,
his skill.
This matchup, it's going to be rough.
Oh, yeah.
The Thresh hook can really catch you out in the level 3 power spike here, zoning them off completely, and you can see that CS advantage that's root for them.
Ever so slowly, and they're playing the pressure very well. Brush control already pushing up. A quick hit right onto Biofrost. He's forced to dance his way out of that situation, and they know they have the upper hand. Actually, nicely stacking the wave as well. Harassment will continue under the turret as much as they can. A fresh ward over by Matt has been recently placed. So good job by TL to get an advantage on this lane, knowing they pretty much would if Biofrost couldn't get an early engage. That one did miss.
Yeah, he missed it, and then they were able to walk right out. And this ReignOver going top, looking at Hauntzer, but he's on the other side of him, Slice and Dice.
He's ghosting! Slice flash Dice. Look at that, adding it in there. Quick fingers, gets himself to safety. ReignOver top side, we'll see if anything comes of this. Already slight roam by Matt towards the mid lane.
Looking for Bjergsen, trying to put pressure on him. Svenskeren over the wall, though.
For the hook. Oh, looks for the play. He did not expect Svenskeren. Matt, one more shot. Looks like they do want it. Svenskeren close enough. One more body slam. Barrel in. The hook and the Dark Passage shield is not going to be enough. Svenskeren belches him down. Flashes are down here for mid lane, so it's going to be a long walkout. GoldenGlue low on mana, so he's not going to be able to provide too much as Piglet starts to cut off DoubleLift and Biofrost. Looks like things fizzle out.
Yeah, there have been some issues with TL's mana pool in his first few fights there. Lourlo up top didn't have enough mana to actually channel his W and get his taunt earlier. The GoldenGlue puts the E out a little early there, so he doesn't have it for the damage on Bjergsen. And kind of just running interference here. GoldenGlue not even standing in front, trying to make sure that Svenskeren would body slam him instead, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't need it at the second half of it. So yeah, Svenskeren, right place, right time, and able to pick it up.
That's that scary 4 minute, 30 seconds around timing for the jungler's Raptors, Zirene. I remember it since last game, man. You're like, yeah, that 420 timing.
Yeah,
hey,
420 on the Raptors, man.
Look out.
That's how
you're gonna get burned.
You know who actually taught me that was Acadian.
Well, there you go.
Acadian was like, yeah, 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Well, that's when you need to get your Raptors for that dank experience.
Well, it looks like crazy. We saw Matt get himself a little too close, and the experience goes to Svenskeren more than Raptors. Back to the top lane, we get a little bit of the repeat. Hero's entrance, throws himself down, and it looks like this is going to be the final 1-2 as ReignOver picks up the kill onto Lourlo finally. Lourlo just teleporting back to lane. Hauntzer.
Yeah.
Should go down.
Yeah,
Lourlo just both teleporting back to lane, but Lourlo now with the advantage.
Exactly.
We're okay. Names.
Boom. Anyway, ReignOver making a repeat gank on top, exactly what you want to see because the flash was used. Question is, does he try to make a repeat gank mid because the flash was also blown there and ReignOver's about to have his ghost back up? Or do you even just punish this top again? Because you put that Renekton behind in this matchup against the Galio. Galio is going to become pretty unkillable because he's able to stack armor here, which will be effective against both the top and the bottom laners. So I feel like you may just actually kind of twist the dagger that's already in top lane. Lourlo has flash too.
I'd say that's a great idea on the Hauntzer because these recent plays on things like the Renekton are much like the old Poppy plays where you would have GoldenGlue and Lourlo and ReignOver going in a fight and you see Hauntzer teleport right to your back line, killing Piglet immediately, killing Matt. They need to shut down Hauntzer now so he cannot get those late teleports in, which really help out TSM. just a little bit of a gold lead over to TSM side still, coming out from Svenskeren's first blood. But we can already see ReignOver trying to make that work for the top side in their favor.
It's also the CS advantage in mid as well.
Yeah.
You can see Bjergsen already up about 13 CS. I believe he just got handed off the blue buff too. Both mid laners actually roaming around with the blue. They'll be even there. Whereas ReignOver,
mission impossible. Just for the vision right here, you can see GoldenGlue. Nice little rotation over so they don't get hurt.
It's an interesting ward because they know the blue buff got handed off.
Yeah.
And they know that he was on bottom side to do so. They'll see him again, but
that exit path. It's kind of right. Like they know they're there, but they want the vision that he's there, is what you're saying?
I feel like you don't even have to put it in the bush unless he's like thinking he's there. You could just put it in the crossroad, get a fair look at vision, but whatever. It's nitpicking.
Nice.
It's not important.
Another thing I love about having Thresh in the bot lane is just being able to throw hooks. You kind of, you have a lesson in learning about how the players dodge it, and then you basically read the other player, your the opponent, and you're able to zone with those hooks.
Oh, looking for the repeat gank because the flash is down.
It's going to be Svenskeren once again, though. He goes for the damage, hoping ReignOver doesn't have enough, but he solos out Bjergsen after GoldenGlue's love tap.
ReignOver does a lot.
Just worried about it right now. 200 health for Svenskeren, and ReignOver starting to take over.
Yeah, and we talked about it yesterday where this is a champion that really ReignOver can take over a game on. Olaf and Elise are his top two. Olaf is the most banned champion against Team Liquid this split, and he was able to get his hands on it very early on in the draft. And this is why. He just gets to go in, deal a lot of the damage. I feel like that may have been even an unassisted kill. It's not, but it was very close to being one. GoldenGlue pretty much took a shockwave, and that was front of it.
Biofrost dives in. You can just see how much Thresh closes off that engagement. DoubleLift can't get through the box, and Biofrost will have to back off. Piglet still taking a lot of damage, so TSM getting the upper hand of that situation. And now they may be able to push the lane a bit, or at least soak it up and get a nice stack in the wave, and then get themselves back. You can see that 2-0 for ReignOver's Olaf, and you were right, the Galio was picked first. The Olaf still goes over to the side of TL, so they even dodged out on that one.
Yeah, pick the Xayah and Rakan because you want the combo if you are going to pick it.
Right.
Look at this. Oh.
Hey.
Saw him, but I don't know if you got a glimpse of how low he was. The hawk shot, don't think it's there either, but yeah, Svenskeren's going to have to back here, and this leaves Hauntzer in a pretty bad position. He could get dove, does have the flash though. I don't feel like you go for it.
Biofrost is on a slight roam, but it puts him nowhere near the top side right now. However, GoldenGlue is edging up for that Weaver's Wall right now, and it looks like they are going to try and block Hauntzer in.
Yeah, they're going to spot him right now on that ward, so they're going to go after this turret, and Team Liquid trying to get that first turret. But here comes Rakan and Orianna, as well as Matt. This is just a migration.
Looks like GoldenGlue wanted a few more members to see if they could get a real kill off of the Weaver's Wall. They might block off the rest of TSM here with this. They just hold it. An interesting style. Bot laners, DoubleLift and Piglet now having their
GoldenGlue taking an unsafe route. He's gonna get knocked in.
Interesting choice for GoldenGlue to go up. It looked like the engage was theirs all along. First turret blood, theirs all along in that situation, and then a kill given up.
Yeah, really just took an unsafe route because he wanted to get back to the mid lane there. And Svenskeren punishes him. That was exactly right, though, from TSM to punish GoldenGlue, who was just roaming by himself back to mid, trying to take the shortest path, but it's going to cost him a minion wave. It's kind of one of those things where if you walk to mid, you get the minion wave. Maybe, but if you die, you definitely don't get it.
Well, kind of like convinced you can wall surf faster than they can break through the tri-brush and get to you.
Yeah.
But they all have pretty long engage and dissonance speed up.
Yeah, it's the dissonance speed up, but also like the body slam flash of Svenskeren, who has been catching a lot of flack, but seriously, the guy has played really well in the CLG series. And like I said, DoubleLift said he gets a little bit too much unfair flame.
And it's interesting to hear that, you know, it's when they're behind, he's the guy to face check, because you don't think of the situations where the team says, yeah, it's actually all of our decision to have that happen.
Oh, he hooked her.
Oh, right on the edge, gets the dance out. Still going to go DoubleLift. One last shot. It's the flash forward from Piglet. Body slam actually puts him out of range of the turret.
They want a little more.
A bit of damage, and they're able to take him down as well. Double kill for Piglet in the bot lane after a beautiful
but he's still
hook
chasing.
from Matt.
He got him.
Oh, shoves him backward, and GoldenGlue able to surf himself down. You can see the ultimate was used,
Yep.
gets himself in position, and 3 members of TSM down across mid to bot.
Man, TL with the aggressive play there onto the bottom lane of TSM. Talked about how Piglet has actually been doing quite well, and Matt as well in terms of kill participation. But ReignOver, this is a game where he's got 100% KP, and he just bullied his way straight down to that bottom lane. Really, ReignOver, yesterday, guy looked out of sorts, buying 2 boots, making himself, you know, kind of take a lot of flack for the team because he was really running around and was going to look bad because they were so far behind. But this sweeper disables the vision, the flash forward from Matt, and the hook still reaching DoubleLift. And then he goes through, but it doesn't matter. On the feather pull backwards, ReignOver doesn't get CC'd, pulls out enough damage, and then he goes forward and actually eats a bit of the body slam there on the back end and still lives as GoldenGlue gets to there, and we saw the rest.
Oh, we saw the rest.
Oh, yeah, we saw the rest. Don't need to see that again.
That's that play that Taliyah excels in, and it seems to have paid off a little bit. GoldenGlue may have gone down, but he does get a kill for himself by holding the ult previously. It's here or there. It's going to work at some point, but it's a few CS behind from leaving lane here. He's going to try to keep that lead up and keep himself strong. Blue buffs for them. They should be able to keep farming it out back and forth. Looks like Bjergsen's going to head bot side. They may try to get something. Or looks like he's just clearing vision for himself.
And I'm looking at the item already from ReignOver, going for a Negatron Cloak, which is most likely the Gargoyle Stone Plate to have both resistances on top of the HP that he has. It's an interesting choice, but it is going to make it so that he has HP, and then he also has both MR and also armor.
Which kind of makes you instantly ready to continuously dive into fights and be a monster.
Look at this, trading Cloud Drake for that top lane turret. Piglet once again picking that thing up. So 2-to-1 in turrets, TL with a slight advantage here at 15 minutes, about 1,500. The question is, can they actually push forward with this? We saw them yesterday against Immortals struggle. They had a lead, and then it was just struggle bus city from there. They could not push that lead forward.
Oh.
Look at this, over the shoulder.
This is gigantic. If they get this, they push off Svenskeren. They have Rift Herald for mid without their protection of wave clear except Bjergsen. And now if they can't get the mid lane there, which is already backing, bot lane, then they can be able to take mid here in just a few seconds. TL is really just 1 foot in front of the next. Very great right now.
It's what they want to see, though. GoldenGlue.
Super simple.
Exactly. GoldenGlue, after yesterday's match, has said, hey, you know, we're going to bounce back harder than before. This is going to be a victory for TL.
Yeah.
And was really vocal about how, you know, they learned a lot and that they had advantages, but they're able to get a little bit more here.
Ooh.
Nice Rift Herald pickup, and then the pick onto Svenskeren couldn't really contest it, but the arrow over the shoulder from Piglet there, really well played. Like, I gotta say, Ashe arrows seem to just have an affinity for Svenskeren lately. Yeah, he can't see because it's actually disabled. The ward is disabled, so you can't see that Ashe arrow incoming until the last second there, and he tries to body slam out of the way. Biofrost, though?
Oh.
Ah, he was there.
Patience. Looks like they'll be safely gaining a bit of control. We'll see how long TSM can guard this now. It'll definitely be something to watch because at 15 minutes, they lost the outer ring of all of their turrets, and it's going to be up to TL to keep pushing back. Because with TL's turrets up, that means TSM's going to start getting fed minion waves.
Yeah.
If they don't keep the pressure on.
The minion waves will naturally push towards them because of the turrets and also experience and stuff like that. But I feel like now TL are okay to team fight.
Yep.
ReignOver has both resistances. Lourlo has the ultimate and Frozen Heart. They're looking for Bjergsen. Gonna have the flash.
I feel like TL's ready to fight as well as I mean. Oh, the shockwave rocks GoldenGlue, takes him down. Bjergsen's gonna fall though. Retribution from ReignOver on the team as Piglet is the one that is focused. Biofrost trying to charm everybody in with the quickness, and now Lourlo's here. And Hauntzer gets himself a little too deep. A double kill for ReignOver at 4-0-4.
Lourlo just barely got the taunt there on the edge of Hauntzer, who was trying to dive back in for Piglet. And that's what they're looking for, is at least it's some sort of team fight because they feel like they can win it. But that was a really awkward one in terms of how it started. GoldenGlue got collapsed on very quickly as he was walling. We'll see this again. Walls, but then he doesn't get to ride it, doesn't do anything. And then Bjergsen tries to solo him out, but they can't reach him. And then he would have gotten away, but he wants to contribute a little bit more damage. You can see GoldenGlue, though, very risk-oriented.
Yep.
Risk to get back to mid, the risk right there, and watch this, just the edge, as the E was already buffered.
TL coming up big in these fights. taking another one, but also absorbing what TSM had to offer in that situation. And now a 2,000 gold lead here, as we said. Turrets down on the outside. The wars that TSM just placed go down after that fight as well. And just a bit of vision lives towards that top side for them.
Yeah, and let's look at where that gold lead is for just a moment. The bottom lane right now is up about 1,300 with Piglet being the one who's up, and then 900 in the jungle there for ReignOver, who has the Gargoyle Stoneplate and 100% kill participation. ReignOver is once again having a good game for himself, but it's this Olaf. I feel like it's this Olaf, and TSM should become keen to that in the next game, but ReignOver does have the ability to take over this one right here, especially with a Galio behind him too.
You start playing these tanks, these beasts again, that can really take an extended fight like his old Rek'Sai's. And he gets that out of the Olaf, and he starts controlling a game once again. Hard to stop the Viking in this one. It looks like Svenskeren's going to try his damnedest here. The team starts to converge on the bot side as the wave crushes in for TL.
Yep. Looking for Hauntzer, but they're just shoving the wave because Bjergsen's top. Bjergsen has to push that top wave out. They may lose this bottom tier 2, but you can also see Piglet is pushing mid. So they're kind of pushing 2 lanes as their top lane's getting pushed in. So Bjergsen's going to try to trade and get that top tier 1 because it's super low. And Piglet's going to go up there to catch the wave.
If they can actually stop that and still get the pressure they are, this becomes kind of those one of size situations for TSM. If you're playing, you're like, oh, and this lane doesn't get pushed, we can't get this one. What is TSM's option here? Do they try and take a fight where TL's roaming lane to lane, or do they have to just absorb?
I feel like you pick, as people are trying to roam from lane to lane, like you said. As they're trying to go in transit, you may lose an objective, but you have to go for that top turret at some point. Control the Baron area. Next Drake is a Cloud Drake. I feel like it's not that important. And you should just set up for this top side of the map. ReignOver gets it, though. The small victories. But yes, they should set up for top side of the map. Bjergsen does have a lead over GoldenGlue in terms of CS, so he's actually quite powerful. We're waiting for a back from him for possibly Sork Shoes to try and just decimate a team fight, and maybe Piglet. But look at this. Nice dodge that time. But he can't even pull them through ReignOver. He'll ignore the CC.
They still want to wall it. ReignOver getting himself a little too far. Whoa! Biofrost absolutely melts. Feathers everywhere. The TL makes their way down mid. It looks like they'll have enough minions here in a second to be able to take down this turret. If they're piled under them, there they are.
And TL, so far, looking good right now. Pushing up. Lourlo on the bottom side of the map. Has TP and has his ultimate. But Bjergsen's wave clear is very good, so they don't have the ultimates to engage. No Ashe Arrow, no ReignOver ultimate to just charge in. So Bjergsen will probably be free to clear these waves here. Yep, there's the hook. There's the other one.
The cleanse, Svenskeren still taunting on the left side as we get DoubleLift and Biofrost back into the mix. The rest of the TL is going to back off, and something, not that it was Biofrost's fault if the engage just didn't happen, but you can see if you have a chance to look at Rakan on his initiation, Rakan goes down immediately.
Yeah, he was trying to peel away ReignOver, but ReignOver had the CC immunity.
Absolutely.
But TL, they're going to have to get control of that top side right now. Look at that Baron pit, because right now it's TSM. They have complete control of it. They have control wards around it. They have wards inside the pit as well.
Wave. Looks like they want to still give pressure towards that top side for Bjergsen. So DoubleLift and Biofrost are kind of playing a defensive wall. Arrow goes flying down mid as you see it pass through the base, just missing Svenskeren, even with his affinity for arrows. It was close.
Not that one.
Some slow push up by Lourlo here. We'll see how the Hauntzer-Lourlo interaction goes, as they might actually get into some trouble here.
Top turret taking
in the jungle,
amount of damage. And GoldenGlue's there to clear it out. But yeah, now it comes down to, I feel like TL, they have the gold in the right place on their frontliner with ReignOver, that he can dive in, and he's so tanky he can be able to fight DoubleLift, fight Biofrost, and even just maybe 1v1 Bjergsen as he's on top of him. And that's what he's trying to do, is just run in, get Lourlo to ulti him. And I feel like TL, even though it's only a 2,000 gold lead, I feel like they're in a great spot to team fight here against TSM. The only thing they have to worry about is Bjergsen and Biofrost creating a combo on the back line. But the back line's basically Piglet, GoldenGlue, but most of the gold is on that front line of ReignOver and a little bit on Lourlo. Wave clear's not here.
Yeah, that top turret goes down, meaning Bjergsen is quickly clearing waves and pushing down turrets. Can TSM take the 4v5 fight? It actually is not Lourlo yet, but he has the entrance if necessary. And a good hit from Svenskeren calls TL off a mid turret.
Well, they just chunked out ReignOver, so they feel like they can go for a pick here. The most fed member has nothing, and there's the engage, but he flashes away. Biofrost didn't have the quickness on to charm, so it allows the counterplay of the flash to come through from GoldenGlue.
Matter of half seconds, quarter of seconds in these casts right now, and the plays being made. Biofrost initiation, 5 minutes or so to come back up.
Yeah, if you're going to blow your flash like that, you should blow the quickness. I feel like that was just a little bit of a fumble there from Biofrost in the ordering. Because, yeah, the quickness has a radius on it that would have picked up GoldenGlue.
Right, you don't have to necessarily.
You have to be right on top of them, right? You can just kind of make contact with them, but the W would have had the pass-through, and that would have been a taunt there, and possibly a kill onto GoldenGlue.
Well, it's also GoldenGlue's flash, so have to remember, if he's not getting any huge burst of damage or using his worked ground, he still has that standard speed for himself. He may still get caught.
Yeah, make sure that Biofrost doesn't reach him again would be the job here, but Matt's playing pretty much frontline Thresh this game.
I was just going to point him out. He has been incredible.
Yeah, he's just playing frontline Thresh, making sure that he's got the picks, but that means he's kind of a pivotal member in starting a lot of these fights, unless ReignOver's barreling in.
3-4 wards out of that.
Do they think they can cut off Bjergsen? They saw Bjergsen on that top side.
Got to be careful where the initiation comes. You see how much vision they're putting down right now to make sure if they do catch a hook, nobody's coming out of the woodwork for TSM. This area getting a little scary. Biofrost gets himself in, but he can get targeted again and goes down immediately. Lourlo and the rest of the team now staving off the rest of the damage. GoldenGlue makes his way around the fight after he weaves the wall in. And ReignOver able to take the brunt of 4 members of TSM and get out with about 30% HP.
Biofrost was reaching there again for an engage on this Rakan. Hasn't been looking like a good Rakan game for him at all.
I feel like you almost have to get one member on either a retreating or an unexpected team. If you don't get more than that, or if you do get more than that, they all have to be then follow-up CC'd. If they have a chance to land, the Rakan is dead. Yeah, we've seen that now. It's hard to use. It's definitely tricky.
It was interesting as well, because the only person he actually got in his charm and knockup was Matt. Yeah. So he didn't get to Piglet, didn't get to GoldenGlue. If he had the flash from before, then he definitely would have.
It's either a straggler or everything.
Yeah. And I feel like even using it on the support is just, it's not a good attempt at a play. Still, TL though, with a slight advantage, it's only 1,000 gold now as this is being closed a bit by TSM here.
Good look, good body slam. Players getting themselves in and out of these sticky situations here. Svenskeren doing everything he can. This is that situation again. We see Svenskeren in the jungle, being almost a sentry for the team. He has body slam to get himself to safety, but he continues to provide vision.
Yeah, he's stopping them from going top to just collapse on Bjergsen. Bjergsen's 100% dead there if they just walk around.
Slice and dice, still a very tricky team to lock down. TSM can work in the jungle really well here, and TL knows that as they try to take these fights.
Yeah, they're just trying to buy some space for Lourlo on the bottom side, who's pushing and has no answer from Hauntzer, who's currently just in this top side.
Just wait for a shockwave over the wall you're not expecting, and Bjergsen can turn this fight right around.
Yep, Taliyah on sidewave duty on top. GoldenGlue just clearing it out. So yeah, it's always these timings in League of Legends. Clear the side waves, get yourself back up. You can see now 2,000 gold advantage. It's just the kind of the seesaw, the back and forth, the side lanes. Where can you get advantage? What can you actually leverage? And now TSM have to be a little scared because they don't have any vision on Baron, and they've been choked out of it for a while now.
It's slowly working in TL's favor. They have been slowed down themselves, though, to overuse the word. We had 15 minutes, those outer 3 turrets were down, another 11, and not much has happened with damage on that second tier.
This might be the gambit right here. Lourlo's mid. If he goes back down bottom to answer the minion wave that's been pushed in by Hauntzer, and that's the safe play. The other play is you start up Baron with Lourlo, try to get the TP out of Hauntzer, and then just go back to having a TP advantage on the bottom side of the map. Interesting. It seems like TSM play for mid, whereas TL are going to answer instead of playing for top.
TL says we've had enough, or TSM I should say, we've had enough. We're going down mid. All the vision behind TSM right now.
Nice dodge. They got mad.
Gets him out. ReignOver in a 4v1. He knows he can't handle that right away, so he peels back. And yes, Matt has gone down. The main initiator for a lot of these fights, if it wasn't that arrow, and TSM, after holding off, backs against the wall, find themselves now in the front of TL's turrets.
I feel bad for supports this game. Everybody's getting picked on. Lourlo interrupted there, has to flash away.
A few more shots on the turret. They don't have much of a minion wave to work with here, but they do have the damage. They do have the health bars. ReignOver. Ragnarok has to be used in defense for the first time all game. And it looks like TL backs off of TSM with the advantage.
And now, that was ReignOver having to blow the ghost earlier, Lourlo blowing the flash, and TSM blowing Svenskeren's flash, but now they have Biofrost's back. That's the big one that you're looking for here in the next fight. I feel like TSM now have the capability to take a fight and try to get something out of it, and it could go their way here. Also, especially since the Orianna now has Void Staff too.
Little self-help, redemption dive in as he goes for the entrance now. Give himself a little bit of heal, even though it was nerfed a bit.
And the way that this game has actually gone, it's stalled out so much that Bjergsen actually has the most money in the game. So they've gotten back up in turrets. He's gotten so much side lane farm that he is actually kind of rolling in dough at the moment. 11,400 gold. Next highest is 11,000 with Piglet, who has those 2 kills and 4 assists. But really, it's kind of Bjergsen getting back in the game. And he has the penetration items now to blow people up. And this is kind of the sweet spot for Orianna's, is where you have that Void Staff 3rd item, and you have the penetration of the boots, and then the Luden's on top of it. So really, the 3-item power spike for Orianna is something that's not talked about too much, but it is a huge part.
The money thing is a really good indication of why CSing is good. I mean, you see a 604 ReignOver, and he wasn't one of those top 2 numbers you were saying. Right?
Yeah, and ReignOver was actually up about 30 CS at one point over Svenskeren, but they're even now because his laners have been picking up the farm like they need to. Hold on, no, there's the engage on a Matt.
Big engage. They all got knocked back.
They're looking for Bjergsen.
Svenskeren hit a very nice cast to put him in the shockwave, but Bjergsen goes down after delivering just that. And DoubleLift's going to get dropped. Fight on the backside. It has been Piglet getting torn apart as ReignOver and the rest of the team chases down TSM. Looks like they'll be able to find Biofrost first. He gets the battle dance back to Svenskeren. It looks like Hauntzer puts himself in the front. Do they think they can get a slice dice on 1 or 2? Hauntzer's in that position, but it's mainly just to stop any more of the fight. What a quick initiation going in. The cask, I think, broke up more of the fight than TSM wanted to.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because it ended up off of the supports kind of starting that one off again. But really, the backline just going after Bjergsen here. I like GoldenGlue's angle on this fight. You'll watch Svenskeren, throws him in, but they don't get knocked up from Biofrost. And then Matt goes, all right, I can flash on Bjergsen. GoldenGlue and Bjergsen are now in his face as well as ReignOver. And then Lourlo ulties onto ReignOver to try and stop him from dying. Maybe didn't need it, and actually ditches Piglet, because that was a 3-and-2 split. And then as soon as Galio lifts off, they're like, wait a second, there's nothing to peel for him anymore. So I feel like he may have gotten a little bit too antsy about, hey, somebody's dying, I don't want ReignOver to die, to a single carry with DoubleLift, where he may have been fine.
Whoa. ReignOver is just flexing the muscles right now. Walks straight to the team at TSM. GoldenGlue with a nice shove and unraveled the earth onto Svenskeren. Takes him down just about half health. The TL is not letting up the pressure. They are relentless right now as they try and stay in the faces of TSM. Bot lane's going to be pushed. Lourlo has that entrance if he needs to get in.
Arrow hits Bjergsen.
They're going to make the wall, and they're going to cut off DoubleLift, Svenskeren, and Hauntzer. Biofrost and Bjergsen with a good side swipe. Can they get in the fight? GoldenGlue down to just 100 HP. Gets wiped out by the Ignite from Biofrost. He goes down as well, and we'll see DoubleLift enter the fight. He's got Lourlo, though. He was hitting the tank. They don't even decide to go back for him. DoubleLift still has enough. And he is able to take down one more. That was Matt that dropped.
And DoubleLift comes up huge there after the last fight, able to get his Lord Dominic's regards, and does a lot of damage to those guys. Woo. Now TSM have a lead for one of the first times in the game since First Blood.
Taking things slow, they said. Svenskeren said we might get a little ahead of ourselves. We're going to slow things down. I think they had some negative speed in the beginning of the game, but then they're starting to gradually increase pace now. And TSM on the good clip, a pace they want to be working with, and a pace that looks like is going to allow them to jockey for Baron here. Any contest would come from Piglet, and he
that's it.
A very scary job.
Yeah, it would pretty much just be Piglet. I feel like this, there's no smite, so that's kind of what he's banking on. Here comes Svenskeren.
It is Piglet.
He's going after the Ashe instead. Feels like that's the better chance.
Oh, they helped him. All right, he's gone. He just shuffles himself out of there.
Yeah, make sure that they don't stay around too long. And that's Baron for TSM.
What can they get off the back, though? They want to say, no, you can't back. It doesn't look like much. It's only 4 seconds
ReignOver,
to get out of there.
He's greeting a little bit here. See if he can get anything. Oh. There's the wall, though.
Scope him out.
There's no flashes on Bjergsen.
What are they going to push? They have no minions.
Yeah, there's TP from behind. They're getting flanked in. They don't have Piglet.
No,
it's 4 on 5.
TL! Oh, they don't look before they leap on this one, and it might be a bad situation. Hauntzer gets locked in. TL does have a good bit of a disengage that chokes TSM through Tribrush. They should be all right. Piglet's going to stay mid as he starts to get the push on. Bot lane is also in their favor. And what a hectic few minutes there. We'll see where it starts.
Yeah, they didn't have the damage to follow up onto Bjergsen. And watch this from Biofrost, where he gets onto GoldenGlue. Shockwave comes through. GoldenGlue gets burst out, and they lost a big carry, but they traded one person for it too. But then DoubleLift, they don't have anything to reach him now. And Lourlo doesn't have the flash from earlier. Can't flash taunt, can't do anything there, and they've lost a lot to do that. And that's 3 for 2. And TSM still pick up the Baron. You can see there. That says this game. Don't think that's 100% right. I think that's last fight.
I think
but still, you can see DoubleLift
with that.
You can see DoubleLift really did clean up that fight for sure.
34 minutes on the clock. 14-9. Yes, the damage was 5 Gs from DoubleLift in last fight. We'll see all the pressure just down towards the bot side. Why not? Top is pushing a little bit away. They will start to have that wave, and mid is in their favor. So TSM are staying for the long haul, and they're here to play. TSL doing good with names today.
I was like, what is that?
Who are you talking TL about? Is kind of wondering now, what happened to our lead? What didn't we do with our lead? And what could we have done as we started to lose it? A lot of questions here as their backs against the wall, just like TSM a few seconds ago.
Yeah, they're going to start asking the question, were we not aggressive enough? Did we not dive enough? And TSM just kind of played the side wave game, kept the gold within 1,000, 2,000, going back and forth. And then Bjergsen ended up with the most gold in the game at that point, and then was able to get a good shockwave that decimated the enemy mid laner. So GoldenGlue really didn't keep himself safe at all.
Yep.
And tried to wall and be aggressive, but they're not playing around their front line. Their front line is diving. There's a wall to try and keep them here, but that might be exactly where they want to be. What's ReignOver going for?
ReignOver down to about 60% HP before he even got in the fight. Svenskeren low. DoubleLift now into GoldenGlue. He's forced to flash away. Svenskeren in the fight as it's Matt that's going to go down first, and now Sven to the back. Hauntzer in the front as the Piglet shield. DoubleLift very low as Piglet is trying to deliver the damage. 100% HP as he begins his fight for the back line. Biofrost looks to get back there as Piglet now down to 50 as everybody in and out of the sliver of health limp away from this engagement.
Yeah, and you end up with Matt going down, and that's it. Everybody else, like you said, limping away. Very low health bars on a lot of the members there. GoldenGlue, if he had been able to section somebody off from the fight and keep them out of the base, it may have been different, but not able to come up huge there with the Weaver's Wall. But really, you're watching Piglet's positioning in these fights, and the guy has only died one time off of that one play where he got ditched by Lourlo, and that's the issue with TL's composition is it's not like, I guess, a compositional thing. The way that they're playing it is ReignOver, he's fed, he's going to dive the backline. Then Lourlo needs to ulti him. Then Lourlo now ditches his backline, and then Hauntzer, Svenskeren, and we're seeing these fights kind of trail off to not be front to back. They're being kind of side-to-side fights.
Yep.
We saw, like, even Biofrost was DoubleLift was going after GoldenGlue for that last fight. It's like, why is your mid laner able to hit AD carry? Where are the tanks?
It is interesting because especially at this late game when you're fighting in those scenarios, you almost start to forget about the exit strategy when you get to that horizontal position, and then you realize, whoa, we only can go right back out the choke. We have to flash over base gates. ReignOver again, very low before he can get in. Heroes entrance, Lourlo to help the team. Piglet's on the back, low for ReignOver and Piglet. The teammates staying alive, kiting themselves to safety, but they leave Lourlo alone, and TSM starts to wipe the fights.
Yeah, TSM just have more damage right now to burst through those tanks, and they already got access to Piglet. They're gonna push here and try to get this top turret.
I think they will be able to do so, finding the inhib after 46 seconds on Lourlo, which means Matt's already been down for 20. TSM has had some time to work themselves in the base, and they're going to go for more kills. ReignOver getting ahead of himself here. GoldenGlue trying to deliver more damage. And it looks like they have TSM in a position to rethink this, but I don't think TSM is going to leave before getting this inhib.
No. Locked it forward. A lot of these ultimates are down.
Elder Dragon is alive, quite a bit to lose. Baron's not going to be alive though, so.
Ping on Elder Dragon here for TL.
Ping on Elder Dragon is there.
That's the call. They're going for it right now. There's no Baron powered recalls for TSM.
Do they?
Do they stay? Do they stay? Do they try to rush it?
TSM's holding. They have 3 members at least.
They're waiting.
To make
they're waiting.
Sure nothing.
They're going now. There's the TP. They're going to try to go for broke here. Try to end the game on TL.
7 seconds now. They're trying to get themselves back. It's going to be the first Nexus turret going down. TSM
ReignOver flanking.
Remember, they're low. Summoners are still up on most of the members, though, which could give them the upper hand in the fight. DoubleLift got rocked by the arrow as Piglet finds a good one, and Bjergsen has to flash over the wall. His ability to escape is no longer there. Hauntzer will go down in the base as ReignOver comes back. It's going to be there. I promise you, he will go down. We all got Bjergsen going down on the top. He saved his cleanse, so there could be still an outplay for next fight. And this is what TSM tried to do. They wasted time. TL have a lot to repair here before they can do too much outside of their base. 1 minute on Baron, and Elder is up still.
Yeah, they trade Piglet for 3. They save their base. They lose that top Nexus turret. And now this might just be the Elder Dragon going over to TL because they had won the previous fight.
DoubleLift, the Quicksilver Sash buy. I agree.
Yeah, yep. Rivington approved. It's always one of those things that last fight, what happened? We lose because I got caught by an arrow. QSS purchase for him.
Yep.
Piglet's had one for a very long time. But look at this, they aren't even going to start it up because the Baron in 22 seconds when Hauntzer comes up, a little bit more important. And it feels like TL think that their base is just too much in shambles to the point that they really have to protect it here with only 1 Nexus turret left. Lourlo just buys his time, and then ReignOver with the entrance here. Piglet's angle on this, straight past Hauntzer and Svenskeren, who are trying to retreat onto DoubleLift, and the Weaver's wall to cut off and get a lot of flashes there too. Getting Bjergsen's gives them a lot of options in this next fight here.
Getting a little more intense than I think TL would have liked it to get.
Man,
at this point,
yeah, this is
one heck of a lead.
This for TL is kind of hopeful because they had that early lead. Fans can look at that and go, okay, you know, they had early against TSM and Immortals, but it falls apart during this point in the game. That's going down too fast. I don't think there's a contest here. ReignOver gonna rush up. Oh my God!
Almost grabs it. Nope. Sven comes up big. Lourlo is in though. Biofrost is out. He goes back to Bjergsen and DoubleLift. The support is making sure his carries live. Hauntzer on the back, very low. Redemption comes through for the team. And in the blink of an eye, Bjergsen magically makes Piglet disappear. This means TSM now moves forward. TL's trying to get the inner track to get themselves to the base. Hauntzer did back on this, so he's got the long run. It's a 4v3 as TSM makes it into TL's base.
Oh my God, they blew up Piglet. Bjergsen ends up getting a huge kill on him. They're trying to push here.
One turret, not enough minions just yet. That super might be the cavalry they need to get some more shots in. DoubleLift with that sash, gets himself into a scarier spot. He feels good about it. He's gonna stay right in the front of Lourlo. They try to actually disengage.
They're trying to end.
And backs against the ropes. TSM hold off on TL's lead, and they're able to take game 1, 16-17. 41 minutes in. Looks like they're gonna pad the stats a little bit. Lourlo says walk this way, and TSM obliges. Back to the Nexus. TSM takes game 1.
They don't want to be in the winning shot there for the photo moment. 17-17, equaling kills at the end of the game. As a TL fan, you say, all right, we had that in the early game.
Boy.
We just need to change a few things. As a TSM fan, you're happy that they won, but at the same time, you're saying that wasn't as clean as Immortals.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Or a fan of any of the other team names I said this time. TSLM, CL, TL, CS.
TL just needs some TLC, man.
No, seriously. That early game, coming out with the first 3 turrets, Usually we'd see teams slow down if they got ahead of themselves, right?
Yeah.
We used to have the lane swaps where a team would take down an inhibitor turret and you're like, well, we're all level 6. We can't actually go back to that inhibitor turret safely anymore. And that's where you'd see the stall out. But with 3 turrets, that much of a lead and the ability to go around any of the second tier turrets to make that composition work again, like it stopped. It almost became not confident in their play.
Well, they gave too much space to Bjergsen to farm and just keeping up farm. At that point, you kind of have to dive with your lead on ReignOver and Lourlo and just keep going in. Once you get flashes, just go again, throw arrows out. And that's really what you're looking for if your TL is pushing the issue. And that's what they've struggled with. They've had some early gold leads, and we've seen that they've been able to close some of them out, but it's really not that easy when they have something that can stall like the Xayah wave clear or the Orianna wave clear. And they're so hesitant to move forward because the engage from Biofrost on Rakan or even just the Gragas ultiing them back. So that's what they're really worried about. But I feel like they were too hesitant. They were overcautious. And we saw for so long. Remember when they were over on the top side jungle, TL was, and they had complete vision control of Baron, and they were going back and forth? They never tried to do anything with that. They tried to go mid and get turret damage, but Bjergsen just clears it. Bjergsen goes top, clears those waves, and then he gets his 3-item spike, and then TSM now want the fights.
It's quick waves. We'll actually go over the game a little bit. We have 3 replays here. We'll start off with that as we were talking about the pressure in the early game, what ReignOver was able to provide. A lot of it, people were saying, can ReignOver still do this? Yes, he can.
Yeah, I feel like you ban the Olaf away from him because this is just such a great champion for ReignOver's style. It's currently the most banned champion against Team Liquid, like I had said previously.
Absolutely.
And it allows him to do things like this in the early game. He actually ends the game 8-1-8.
And a loss.
Only missed out on 1 kill as well. His kill participation was insane. And ReignOver, once again, goes after Bjergsen, solos him out, and then Lourlo comes in. Maybe wanted to ulti Piglet there instead, but goes on to ReignOver because it's the person who was closest. And that's what I feel like they kind of dropped the ball. Like TL, seemed like Lourlo was too focused on let's go on the Olaf in these fights every single time, but it didn't have to be every single time. He was ditching Piglet sometimes too. So it's kind of that how to be a frontliner back and forth type thing where with Galio it's not as binary as, you know, press the button every single time or don't press the button.
And just again to set the pace of the time, it was that 15 minutes where they were able to take all 3 of the outer turrets, jump ahead 16 minutes, and TSM start to make a comeback in that mid lane as they held off for so long.
Yeah, Biofrost able to engage onto GoldenGlue, and then Bjergsen follows that up and blows him up. And then that's the damage dealt, and now they can't get to DoubleLift, who has a frontliner in front of him. He had Hauntzer just tanking for him and taking brunt of the damage there. But this is a 3 for 2 because they pick up Matt on the backside. And that's really kind of these front-to-back team fights where DoubleLift was usually in the back, and he had his tanks in front of him. But it felt like the tanks of TL were like, rush in, get into their backline, try to get in there. And they couldn't always do it. And then they would ditch their backline.
In a moment, a little bit of a moment as we see DoubleLift on the screen. Pretty happy that he probably came out with the win on this one. And some pretty good feather storms to get himself out of bad situations.
Yeah, the dodges on the arrows.
And the replay of it, 38 minutes here of the overstay in TSM's base, kind of reminiscent of Svenskeren saying sometimes we get a little too quick when this was just kind of a breather moment they could have waited on and done it the next time.
Yeah, but they didn't really have time to back and get the Elder Dragon. It would have gone over to TL.
That's also true. That's also true.
They went for this play, and if their goal was to pull TL back or get the base, then I feel like TSM accomplished that because TL don't get the Elder Dragon, and it actually may have been the right play to do that, right? In terms of variance.
Looking at it from that point, like, absolutely.
Best case scenario, you get the base. Worst case scenario, they come in and they kill X amount of people, but they still don't get Elder Dragon. They have to stay in their base to farm waves. So that may have actually just been the optimal play there.
And you can see that DoubleLift did do more than 5,000 damage all game. 32.8 actually on that. GoldenGlue doing his best to stave them off as they got into a 34. But you can see the priority of the Galio takeaway here as we got into picks and bans. The Caitlyn ban was there to make sure Piglet had to be on some of that utility that, well, he has become accustomed to playing, still would rather be on somebody who's just going to headshot you
the
and
range,
kill you all day.
The auto spacing. I mean, this is where the dank meme came from, right? Is Piglet's auto spacing. DoubleLift complemented it, especially on Caitlyn, where he has the 650 range advantage over whoever he was playing at the time. So I feel like they're respecting Piglet, and it's honestly rightfully so. I feel like Piglet has been playing a strong game so far in this split, but it's really the team moving forward and pushing advantages. is how they are falling flat on TL.
We'll have to see how they react coming into Game 2. We are stepping away for a moment, but when we return, we will have Game 2 of Team Liquid versus TSM. Be sure to stick around after the Game 1 highlights for the latest episode of This or That. You're watching